What up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo's Theory-Paloza!
If you like what we do here, make sure that you hit that like button and go ahead and give us a subscribe.
And ring the bell to be notified of future videos, and share it with all of your friends because they're going to want to be in the know.
Absolutely.
Korvac is just hovering in the debris, laughing.
Today, we're going to talk about what the cosmic threat is going to be going forward in the MCU, especially in Phase 4. If you haven't seen our theory about who the more grounded big bad is going to be, go check it out. We talk about the Thunderbolts. We lay the groundwork for how the MCU is going to play out Zemo and the Thunderbolts. It's an excellent video. Please go check it out. But we're talking about the cosmic threat. And there's a lot of options out there. I mean, there's tons of, giant big bads that could take place. And we know that Marvel just got a bunch of rights back to a lot of characters. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to kind of intertwine a lot of these in by using the Korvac saga. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, he's basically a guy from the future who, when the Badoon took over his world, he was a traitor against his own people.
And who are the Badoon, for those not in the
They're an alien race made very famous in the X-Men comics, which, hey, they got the rights back to the X-Men.
Yes, they do.
They bring in the Badoon just as kind of as a side character, as a sub-part of this.
Kind of linking it all together.
Yeah, exactly.
Deadpool battles the Badoon a lot as well.
Yep. They've been around quite a bit. I think they first started in Astonishing X-Men, but I think I'm wrong about that. I am.
Sort of like
they
how
came
the Skrulls kind of make an appearance in a lot of different...
Yeah, exactly. And then he ends up getting turned into basically a cyborg after he turned on his own people. He was asleep at his station. The Badoon sort of made an example of him by pretty much crafting a machine to him, and he kind of becomes a cyborg, and he flees to the past. And I think that is where we're going to see this in the MCU. They'll talk about what happened before, but I think we're going to see him show up. And
now, do you think they're going to stick with the flees to the past, or do you think they're going to stick with more of like a Guardians of the Galaxy? He just skipped to another planet or something. You think they're going to introduce time travel again?
Probably not. I think that's I think you make a good point. I don't think they'll do. He'll probably be. They'll negate all the time travel stuff of the business because part of his story involves the Grandmaster, who we last saw in Thor Ragnarok. Yep. He was kind of down and out.
Call it a tie.
Who we did? I think everyone wants Jeff Goldblum to come back.
Oh, please bring him back. He just play that character so well.
He's kind of using Korvac to fight Doctor Strange, and at the time the Defenders. Now, obviously, the Defenders have not been introduced in that manner.
So do you think he's, at this point, retaken over his trash planet?
No, I think he's moved on. And I think he's going to use Korvac as his pawn to try to get back at all of the heroes. And it's probably going to pop up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, if this is how they're going to go. And now he ends up losing the fight on purpose in the comics, but as he's doing so, he's scanning the Grandmaster and ends up stealing a lot of his powers.
Crafty Korvac.
Yep.
Now, do you believe that they're going to give the Grandmaster any sort of special powers or abilities in the MCU?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. Because he's an Elder of the Universe, I think we're going to see his powers next time we see him. And, he has the power cosmic, and he has a lot. I think he sort of had it, and they just kind of didn't really talk about it, because he did have control of that planet pretty much, and a lot of very powerful beings. So he's definitely power, but Korvac ends up stealing some of his power cosmic.
Okay.
And then in another twist of fate, he actually comes upon the space station of Galactus.
Nice. I'd like to see Galactus introduced as well.
We know that Marvel Studios now has all of the Fantastic Four characters. So what's a better way to introduce Galactus instead of him coming to devour Earth right away?
Just show it as maybe a little nod, even maybe could put it as an end credit scene, sort of like the way they did Thanos.
Yeah.
Sort of briefly introduce this huge big bad.
Well,
this sort of world ending.
Yeah. He stumbles on the ship, he gets some things and finds some things, and then at the end, it's like Galactus, you just see him who's on my ship?
Or an after credit scene where the Silver Surfer just comes rolling up to Earth.
So Keith, are you saying that Galactus might actually look menacing and not a space tornado?
I hope so. He was a space cloud.
Oh, Space Cloud. Oh, sorry. Semantics.
You know, let's hope he's the giant purple with the sweet helmet and not, you know, something crazy.
Look, the MCU has proven to us that they can have a giant purple villain. Okay, so
And their helmets aren't bad. I mean, Loki wears that helmet, so you know this guy.
they can
wear
pull
one
it
too.
off.
But and I think this is a good way. You know, you're introducing a lot of X-Men properties. You're introducing some Fantastic Four properties. He's enough of a different character from Thanos that it's something new and refreshing.
And he could definitely serve as that connecting thread to a lot of the other properties, both that already exist and those that have yet to make an introduction into the MCU for sure.
He could definitely try to use his powers that he's collected to try to take over the universe. He could be stopped.
He could run into
Either
the
by-
Guardians.
It could be the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Absolutely.
You know, we could see him being taken on by Captain Marvel.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, the rumor was that he was going to show up in this movie. And I do think, you know, we've bandied this name about for a couple different people. I could see Christian Bale playing Korvac, too.
Oh yeah.
Once
Yeah,
again,
I could see that.
he could be good at anything, but I could see him playing that. And I would like it because hopefully he'll show up in multiple movies. You know, maybe we'll see him hinted at during WandaVision. And then maybe get a bigger role in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And then maybe, you know,
The Doctor Strange movie has the potential to open a lot of doors for many different things. It just depends on where the MCU wants to take it.
yeah, really. I mean, it's pretty much an open book
Oh, yeah.
with what they got there, and they can do anything.
And I love Multiverse. It's the greatest thing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's super.
As long as it's done right, you know, it can be fun.
Yeah, I guess so.
But, you know, there's so many, you know, as we were thinking through all these different theories, there's so many different ways they can go. I mean, you could have Annihilus start the Annihilation wave, but I think that's maybe saved for something later. You know, you bring something a completely different sort of cosmic villain around.
Oh yeah.
You have you can introduce Galactus and have him threaten Earth at a later date. You introduce Doctor Doom, and maybe, you know, we've seen Doctor Doom steal powers from cosmic beings all throughout the comics. He did it to the Beyonder. He did it to the Silver
Yeah.
Surfer.
If they introduce his character right
Yeah.
as well.
And maybe we see Doom steal Korvac's power. And that's what makes him, you know, the big bad moving forward in Phase 5. There's really so many ways they can go for it, go with this, and I think it's the right way to go. But once again, we haven't been, you know, there's been hints about Korvac maybe showing up, but nothing substantial. You know, we know very little about what's going to happen, and we've heard Nightmare is going to be the villain in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and we've heard hints about what's going to come up in WandaVision, but nothing substantial as who the next big bad is.
Right.
And if they learned anything from The Mandalorian, it's keep it secret as long as you can to get that big surprise. Because if they could have a surprise introduction of Doctor Doom at the end of, say, WandaVision, I mean, people would go nuts. It was,
Oh yeah.
It would be the way to play, and then, you know,
Absolutely.
as things string along and he's doing what he needs to do, he could be almost a main character throughout.
Well,
the
yeah,
end of it.
they've proven that they can do that. You know.
Yeah, he could be just going through the end of Phase 4 and all of Phase 5, just gathering power, having, you know, fighting people when he needs to, but being like, my end game's out here,
Yeah.
Right.
You
and
could be
we're
flo-
just here. Right?
You could be floating under the radar the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, us just watching them.
And Doctor Doom, could be the guy from Ant-Man and the Wasp who wanted the Pym particles.
I mean, Keith, you
Yeah, they
even
never did
mentioned
mention who that was.
you even mentioned the other day that there's a possibility that he could interact with Black Panther.
Yeah, you know, there's a rumor out there that Black Panther 2 is going to introduce Doctor Doom to the MCU.
And the Doctor Doom, obviously from Latveria, not
Yes.
you know, the previous incarnations where he was either a snarky businessman or B, a basement dweller.
Yeah, they'll get him right. He'll be the leader of Latvia. I think, you know, he may be the big bad in Black Panther 2,
I could
but
see
we
that
may
too.
see him earlier. You know, we may just be hinted at him. We may
Yeah.
see something.
They might like build it up,
Yeah.
like we've been saying.
We see him in WandaVision, or we see him at the end of Shang-Chi and the Legend. You know, we know the Mandarin is going to be in the Shang-Chi.
Like
Maybe Doctor Doom is working
he,
with him
maybe
at that time with the Mandarin.
he spent some time in the background just funding some of these bad guys, because he is supposed to be the ruler of a country, and maybe he's pulling some strings, not actually getting involved yet himself. They could play it very similar to
sitting
Thanos.
back, seeing how things play out,
Yeah,
seeing
exactly.
where his right part to interject himself.
Yeah.
He's above getting his hands dirty until
Absolutely.
he needs to. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I think there's so many different ways they can go. I think
Absolutely.
Korvac is the right way now, but we'll see where the MCU takes us.
And you know what? Let us know what your ideas are in the comments below.